On this episode of DC On Screen, we are breaking down the first trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League, taking your questions, and talking a little bit about a couple of CW pilots, one scrapped, one tapped, right after these words from this week's mystery sponsors.
Need extra money for college? ISL Education Lending Scholarship Program provides $1,000 for college expenses. Registration is easy and no essay is required. Visit www.iowastudentloan.org/register to learn more. The scholarship is open to Iowa residents who are in high school and college students, as well as parents of those students. Register by November 30th for your chance at one of the 45 awards at www.iowastudentloan.org/register.
The Sonic 2 for $7 deal lets you choose from the Sonic Cheeseburger, Chicken Sandwich, or Footlong Chili Cheese Coney. Any two for $7. So you can mix and match a deliciously melty Sonic Cheeseburger and a crispy chicken sandwich with the perfect amount of pickles. Or you can pair that brioche-topped chicken sandwich with the Footlong Chili Cheese Coney you've been craving. Either way, you'll get two mouthwatering Sonic items for one great price. It might be the greatest pairing since cherry and limeade. Sonic 2 for $7 deal. Tax not included. See menu for details. Limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 627. This is the podcast where we talk about the DC Comics multiverse on film and television, give honest opinions on projects upcoming and past, and believe that every version of a property is valid, even if we don't want it to be. If it's been released, it is fair game. So beware of spoilers, and welcome to the show. I am David C. Robertson, and this, the man who once tried to trade an alligator for Rex Goliath wine, Jason Doss.
Oh, is Rex Goliath the one with the rooster?
Yeah, it's the chicken wine, as you put it.
The chicken wine.
You used to when we lived together, you referred to it as chicken wine.
I do remember that.
I remember our friend Brandon was like, "What the hell is chicken wine?" He was so aggravated. He was so tired of hearing you talk about chicken wine.
It was one of those like...
And you just like proudly held it up. You're like, "It's got a chicken on it."
What would you have me call it?
Rex Goliath.
Because I would argue that Rex and Goliath, separately or together, mean nothing compared to the logo.
I agree. I don't know.
Clearly a chicken. This is chicken wine.
Oh, God. Good days.
It's a very bad deal. Very bad. It's like honestly, I think it's a $7 bottle of wine.
It's not good.
It's like surprisingly palatable for a $7 bottle of wine, but
maybe it's palatable for a $7 bottle of wine.
But and here's another consideration. What your tongue thinks is palatable and what your liver thinks are palatable. Those are very different things.
I don't know, man. That shit was rot gut, dude.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those were not good days.
I think they were some of the best.
Not for my liver, they weren't.
Well, I wasn't the one drinking, so.
Oh yeah, no, for you it was a hilarious sidebar for you.
Yeah, I was just trying to stay downwind.
Mm-hmm.
No. If I can smell it, I'll remember not to drink that.
Yeah. After about 2 glasses, you're like, well, so Jason's gone into kind of a Chernobyl mode. We're going to give him distance and space so that he can process that by himself.
Well, the thing about the way you work, though, is like you're surprisingly cogent. Like it's like hours and hours will go by and I don't notice the difference until all of a sudden, oh no, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. No, I go from perfectly aware to like, well, it's nappy time.
Yeah, it's just what just happened. Like we were just he was mid paragraph.
It was like it was a 4-point structure argument. You got to point 3, bailed. This was 2 hours in to a discussion.
Yep. It's like you will be speaking and then you blink and when you open your eyes, they're suddenly glassy and red. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh no, it's happened.
This sentence is not getting finished.
Yeah. There are moments when, and I'm aware of this vaguely when it happens, but there are moments where like, if I'm getting drunk that night, I wonder sometimes if like, that's how some of the like witch trials happened.
Mm-hmm.
where someone will get to a certain point where they're like, cogent. No.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's the devil. They're possessed. Like, no, they're not possessed. They just fucking hit like a critical mass. And their brain was like, it's nappy time. You need to wrap this up.
Yeah. And it's either going to be that or it's going to wind up being like I don't know, like 9 o'clock in the morning. We're both in the living room laughing our dicks off, writing a book about 1,001 ways to use anal beads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was a real thing. It's just not a thing that I just came up with off the top. No, there's the notebook somewhere.
No. It wasn't 1,001 ways to use them. It was...
Oh, what was it? It was something.
No, the premise was, how would you... Hold on. The premise was, how would you come to power as a nation using, as your catalyst,
okay,
the procurement of $20 worth of anal beads? And we got about 25 steps into that. That's all I remember.
I don't remember how many steps we got.
I do remember we got to the point where we were at least ruling a small part of the country, given our roadmap for how this would go down. We were leading some sort of rebellion.
Right.
We had made the anal beads a religious entity. It's not like a religious artifact.
Uh-huh.
And that was part of how we intended to go about that.
I just remember we were laughing so hard we were weeping.
Yeah, that was a real thing.
And your dog looked very concerned.
Yeah, she bailed. I don't remember the particulars either. I do remember thinking that it made sense at the time, and it made me very happy.
I've turned my house upside down looking for that notebook.
Me
I
too.
Can't find it.
I really want to know what the fuck we thought.
It was like the absence of that notebook from both of our lives is...
I think it's proof either for or against the existence of God.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I think it might be my best proof because God just was like, no.
They don't.
Neither one of you need that.
They don't need to know about that later. It's cool.
Either they'll read it and go, what were we thinking? We should never create anything again.
Mm-hmm.
Or they will read it and think, we are geniuses and we need to finish this. And I can't deal with either one of those things happening.
Right, yeah. Yeah, as though the universe just gave us a mulligan on the whole thing.
Of course, God would have known which one would have happened.
And apparently chose to take it from us, hoping that we would try again.
The Lord doesn't always work in mysterious ways. Sometimes those ways are very obvious.
And a notebook gets disintegrated so that you can have some sense of dignity.
Like, both of those guys are going to want to get married. I say no.
We're gonna
zap.
We're gonna let him bounce on this.
This is why I gave you shitty memories. Okay.
Right.
Thank you to the patrons.
Mm-hmm.
Those beautiful, wonderful patrons. $1 a month gets you every episode ad-free. That is like, what, a sixth of your daily coffee from Starbucks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Every episode ad-free. $5 a month. That's still less than a Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Gets you that plus whatever the hell else we decide to put up. And I apologize. Last week I meant to put up a Patreon episode. Didn't get around to listening to it, to edit the thing. It was over an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
I did tease it to a couple of people, and they were like, "Oh, good." And I'm like, "It's all about Power Rangers and Death Note," and they were like, "Oh, I don't know that." I'm like, "Happy birthday!" We just recorded a whole bunch accidentally for another Patreon. So you got probably 2 things coming this week. I imagine. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to deal with Patreon, or if you already do and want to help us out even more, you can go to dconscreen.com and click the donate button. And right next to the donate button is the store button. And that's where you can go and get merch, like t-shirts and like wall tapestries and mugs and all sorts of crap to clutter up your house with. And make your wife go, what the hell is this DC on screen shit? And then you play an episode and we're talking about anal beads. And then your marriage is in jeopardy.
As is our way.
Hashtag this is the way. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about no Mandalorian. Sounds like some kind of musical instrument.
It really does. Cracks me up every time.
Yeah, I constantly think about that. I'm just like, would it be like a woodwind instrument? Would it be...
I think of it as a harmonica bass. Just not sure how it would come out. Like a harmonica that somehow sounds like a flute.
By the way, did you see this story
It's
from
easier to play flute, I guess.
Did you see that story from that rapper Lil Yachty?
I didn't know that was a thing.
He has a line in some song about a woman blowing that dick like a cello. And then he apologized for it, and he was like, okay, before y'all come at me, I thought for a minute that a cello was a woodwind instrument. And like I had like my A&R guy listen to it, like all these people listen to it, and nobody told me, hey man, I think that like this is a picture of a cello, and I don't think that's what you mean.
That's just not.
He's like, but you gotta admit it do sound good. I'm like, oh god.
Like the line sounds good. Because no, it doesn't. Just no. Honey, sweetie, no. Like in my head, there's just the vaguest chance that they thought they meant oboe.
Oh,
but I feel like that's giving them way too much credit.
Maybe, And of course, you can always leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. That always helps, and that's free. By the way, we've got 99 reviews up. If you want to be the 100th, that'd be really cool.
It'd be nice.
That'd be quite the feather in your cap.
Push it over the edge.
Just put that feather right in there.
Yeah,
don't be careful because you don't want to tear a hole in the hat.
Right.
Those haberdasheries cost a lot of money,
They do.
All right. So let's talk about the big thing, the thing that everybody's talking about this week. Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
What did you say?
The trailer. Yeah, that's definitely what
okay. I really dug it. What do you think, man? What do you have? Because I've got like a whole list of things that I love specifically.
Oh no, we can go through them. I had the trailer queued up that I was just going to hit play and go through it if you wanted to.
Sure.
Just do a play-by-play.
Sure, man.
But long story short, I'm hyped as fuck. This thing looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like if you had shown me, if all right, you know how when you dream and you wake up later and you just kind of remember glimpses of it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all I knew about this in say 2011, I can't even imagine how hyped I'd be to see it now. Right. And that being said, what's been set up and what's actually apparently happening. Oh God, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oof. So I have something queued up if you just want to go through it play by play.
Sure, man. Let's do it.
I have the one that's got Snyder's little intro about like I'm excited to show you the first official trailer.
Mm-hmm. Which indicates there's going to be another one at least.
Yes. Yeah. You don't use first for only. Those are words mean things.
Mm-hmm.
So
traditionally, yes. unless you're the word literally.
Which also
which now also means figuratively.
Also infer means to imply according to the dictionary, which sidebar entirely. I'll be very quick. There's old detective novels I
knew you were going to bring up Nero Wolfe.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to bring up Nero Wolfe.
For sure. He like burns the dictionary the day that he opens it up and like the second definition for figurative is literal. And he's like, well, we're done here. And just throws it in the fucking fire. And like, not even just haphazardly. Like he pulls out pages at a time and just chunks them into the fire. I feel that's me. I get that. That's my spirit animal. Infer and imply are now my ongoing battle. All right. So where I currently am on this trailer is it says HBO Max original.
Uh-huh.
And you got something pulled up, or you just want me to play it?
No, just play it. I've seen it too many times.
I've seen it so many times. All right, so we got Soups still with the hole in his chest.
Yeah, and I love that this sound ripple that we see it coming out of his mouth, and it's like the sound ripple of Superman's death rattle flowing out like a wave and touching all of the pertinent people of the DC universe. Like, dude, that's dope. That is so good.
It's a good metaphor, and it's also, it hints at some stuff. Like, we haven't seen him really use cold breath, right?
No, I don't think we have in this canon.
Not in this one. And it strikes me as, like, interesting that they chose to make the CGI of that a ripple effect. Like, the funny part about sound is that's what I'm doing right now with my voice is creating little ripples. You don't normally see them because they're not powerful enough. but he does it, and lo and behold.
Yeah. And at the same time, we have Lex talking about the bell's been rung. Out in the dark among the stars. The god is dead.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's the same like orange electricity and kind of expanding effect as Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's that exact scene. Is that him dying and with Doomsday around him.
Oh, yeah. But I liked the expanding voice enough that I was super enthralled by it. Also, fucking all the veins popping off, like that dude screamed on set.
Yeah, that was some Hugh Jackman shit.
Yeah.
That was like Hugh Jackman opening a beer.
All right, I'm at the bell's been rung. We're looking at a decimated city. I haven't worked out what city that is. Do you have it worked out?
That we're following the wave through.
Well,
I just thought that was like the wreckage from the fight with the Doomsday.
Okay, I'm just making sure it wasn't a cut because the scene cuts, but that I'm good with that explanation. Interestingly enough, there are these like 45-degree angle. It looks like cuts through buildings that they've got to be Doomsday or some other Kryptonian that can do that shit. Just slice a fucking building like a Ginsu knife.
Yeah, I thought it was because there was that huge like energy explosion when Diana hit her wrists together and while fighting Doomsday. And
well, there's that. Also, when you go to the next bed and he says like among the stars, and there's still that same ripple of energy coming out of what I assume is Superman's death cries, I guess. That just kind of expands into nothing. Like the whole universe went, what's one of those doing there? We should look into that. We're at the mascara. We're at the god is dead. The CGI of that building falling in is really good.
Yeah, I dug it.
I had a dream.
Almost like a premonition.
Yeah.
And we get those like nightmare shots.
So
like,
good shots.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
And then, the money shot, the one that was released in the trailer and or the teaser to the trailer. Desaad, Darkseid, Granny Goodness.
Yes. And my God, man, the thralls of parademons lining the walkway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
No shortage of personnel for his war here.
Yeah. No.
He gonna be all right.
I love how like this took me back a little bit, but because this is subtle, I think. But when Steppenwolf, he's like, "My lord, this world will fall." Blah blah blah. I love that when Steppenwolf bows to Darkseid. And by the way, Steppenwolf, huge dude. Darkseid, way bigger.
Yeah,
way bigger.
Yeah.
I love that when Steppenwolf bows, his armor slides down, leaving him vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
he's made a big point of pointing out that
so good.
The armor itself is its own kind of it's AI armor. Like it when he's getting hit with all the we'll see in a second. We saw it in the teasers, especially in the gray.
And shit,
the gray thing. Like his armor is adapting to him being hit with a bunch of arrows and adapting to whatever blow it takes on. So when he's vulnerable here, that makes a lot of sense that the armor comes down and also given Darkseid, I don't feel like he would let you, even bowing, not like admit some vulnerability and show your face.
Yeah.
It's Darkseid we're talking about here. He wants he wants
submission.
Absolute obedience and submission. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was really
it's an
subtle.
honor to even do something on his behalf. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that? And Wonder Woman before, I think that's the first teaser we were given, is her actual scene where they kind of revealed Darkseid.
Yeah, way back.
And then these kind of the hieroglyphic forms in between that kind of look boxish. Like it looks like a morphing box, which seems like a good kind of pictographic mother box. Is like something you would carve in the days that you would carve something in. Yeah,
sure.
This world will fall. Where I am now. And just Jesus fucking Christ, the action starts heavy. Oh man, I don't know who that Amazon is that is taking off that horse, but she dead. She is straight dead.
That head went in like 30 different pieces, man.
Oh yeah. Well, are you talking about the one that's from the grave? Or the one where like this is the one where she's just like riding on a horse and he axes her? Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, no, but if you like pause it, you can see like her head goes in like 30 different pieces. It just like lops her freaking head into pieces.
I'm gonna try to pause it there now. That sounds fun. Hold on.
Like,
Oh my.
yeah.
Oh.
It was like I was watching it for like the umpteenth time, and my wife was sitting here in the office with me, and I was like, "Oh, did you see that? Like, oh my god!" And she was like, "No, let me see. Like, go back." And I pulled it back, and she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Yeah." And then she goes, "Play it again." So once again, my wife thinks Wonder Woman lopping heads off would be cool.
I regret to inform anyone,
as do my sisters,
connected to the Amazonian, that she did not survive the encounter.
No, she. That was a sad day in Amazonia.
She ain't coming home. Yo, like, she ain't coming home. So we're into I Need Warriors. Just fucking really just so much fun to see Ben Affleck in that role again right now, and knowing that there's so much coming. That's like, man.
Oh, there's a lot coming.
We have not. You'll have to forgive sexual entendres. Well, for the
You don't have to.
Well, you don't have to, but I ask you to just look past them for the moment. So much fun to see him in a role that we know is just, we're probably 50-50 at a stage where he may not be on board anymore.
I mean, he's doing The Flash.
I know. He signed on for some new stuff there. I believe he was one of the ones that signed up for a couple of the reshoot moments, but
Yeah,
he also
because it's not reshoots, it's additional footage. It was.
Oh yeah, additional footage. That
It's
is
all just
that is a very
Joker
good distinction.
Yeah, it's Joker shit though. I mean,
Yeah, but I get it though when he was like, yeah, if that's what we're doing, I'll suit up again. All right, good man. See you there.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to count him out entirely at this stage because, dear God, I've been willing to count things out entirely, and the world has changed. So
Yeah, I think if Zack gets more, Ben will do more. That's my thought.
I think that's where I would place things right now. Is like, man, if this goes well and he gets, and by the way, Ben Affleck is a person who can pick his shot right now. He is at that stage in his career. He can decide.
He has been
if he
for a
wants
really
to
long time.
Yeah, he does not have to do a thing he doesn't want to do. He proved that. So if all the pieces are in place, and honestly, if Emmerich it loses this battle, is where I would put it. Yeah, we may get more. But it was nice to see him here.
Yeah,
Just a little bit we did.
Emmerich be damned if this thing does what we hope it will. HBO Max will make more, and Emmerich won't have a damn thing to say about it because Kyler is going to be like, my dick's bigger.
That's just how it is. Sorry, bro. Yeah, you saw the. Did you see the 24-hour ratings on this thing?
No,
Just
no,
obscene,
not really.
obscene 24-hour views for this trailer.
Yeah,
Obscene. I mean, I think it was like 24.9 million or something.
Oof.
In 24 hours. It was absurd.
Yeah, that's impressive.
And
that's impressive.
I mean, I know I was at least, no exaggeration, 20, 25 of those.
Yeah.
In the first 25 hours?
25 million of those?
I was trying to limit the hyperbole, but yeah, like 20, 25.
Yeah, I've probably watched it 20, 25 times myself. And that's not with prep for the show.
Yeah.
That's just me sitting there wide-eyed and going, dude, we saw Cyborg with at least 3 arms. I think I saw a 4th.
I think there was an auxiliary going behind him.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well,
good
keep
Lord.
going through the play-by-play. I Need Warriors. We see Diana from the heist scene. Using the arm.
You
thing
son of a
instead
bitch! I'm in.
Yeah.
Sorry, heist. Rick and Morty. I had to do it. I had to say it.
Don't blame me. All right. So am I wrong about this though? In the cut, I don't think she uses the actual the sleeve thing, the bracelet thing. I think that was original to the theatrical cut, that she instead used like the speed thing. I don't remember using the actual gauntlets as she can do that concussive thing.
I remember. I mean, she did it in BVS, but
yeah, she did that, and it like blew Doomsday back.
Yeah.
I don't think she. I could be wrong. It's been a minute. I don't think she used the concussive part in the museum heist. I think it was.
Oh yeah.
She just did that thing, and it was actually a cool shot. It was a cool
remember.
scene where she just like went in front of all the bullets and gauntlet, and bounced him back and everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember using that. But
if that was a Whedon, it was not the most egregious thing he did in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's a piece of shit, but he's not. Not every fucking shot was terrible. Not every scene or idea was terrible. There were a couple of things in there that were all right. Largely, yeah, you tanked it, but we can come up with some scenes that were worth doing. Mm-hmm. All right, so we got some more. All right, so here's what you were talking about. We got some more like I'm building a team. I need warriors, all that stuff. All right, just pausing it. I see 2 arms. I see a gauntleted like fucking Gatling gun coming out of his...
like a sonic cannon or something.
Some kind of damn cannon. He about to shoot some shit the fuck up. And then there's whatever dangling from the back of him.
I mean, that kind of looks like a freaking belt of bullets.
Could be.
But then there's another thing even further over that looks like an arm behind the other arm.
Let me go back and pause on that part.
Which Zack says there's going to be 4 arms in this thing. So
now I'm good with that. I just
whether it's in that shot or not.
I don't think it's in that shot personally.
Okay,
but I could be swayed because I don't know what's going out at the back of that. It is behind the left arm for sure. Mm-hmm. Then we go to Barry, and say what you will about Barry's running style, but I kind of like it for like high speed running style.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. You know,
it doesn't make sense. Like if you're an actual runner, you're kind of trained to like. Well, I say that this is me talking from 25 years ago when I was actually doing some training. Is like you're trained to like keep your elbows in, you keep your arm motions pretty well synced to your legs, but you're not trying to create like extra aerodynamic problems. You basically run by keeping your arms to your side and moving them pretty well. One, cinematically, this pose where he's like hitting the ground and like this weird fucking like the back leg is so far back and the front leg is just hiked like he's fucking about to hit an offensive lineman. I get it. But it looks really good. And I don't know what the fuck actual motion looks like in speedster time.
Yeah.
You know what we normally see of Barry Allen when he's drawn is however the fuck that artist thinks running works.
Right. And, you know, I have seen a lot of people from previous shots of Flash be like, well, trained runners do this. And I'm like, dude, who the hell said Ezra Miller or Barry Allen is a trained runner?
No one. He's specifically not.
He's just a guy with super speed. He doesn't know how to run.
All right, when you look at how he's built in the comics, like, yeah, he could have had a track and field background. He could have, for sure. But he looks more like a baseball player if I was picking my shot here.
And you know,
and don't get me wrong, man. You've got to go to bat at some point during a baseball game. He probably knows how to steal second base, but we're not talking about a guy who trained as like, all right, this is what Usain Bolt does, and we're going to analyze every movement, and you're going to try to replicate that on a track. And no, man,
right.
That's not.
And to be fair, I've seen trained runners run like Ezra Miller is doing in this thing.
Yeah,
I've seen them do it. Now, what kills me is the people who are complaining the most. Oddly, seems to be like from what I've seen, seems to be the CW fans, and I'm like, I love overall. I love the CW Flash, but he just looks like he's bobbing at the knees and moving his arms. You're gonna come
it's
with me,
not
okay?
The best looking running motion for a a speedster.
No,
and it's also not a thing that I do not. Here's a question for you. Do you have like one example of someone getting super speed running like so perfect that you're like, this is the template, we should be doing this from now on? Because I feel like everyone misses it a little bit here and there. It
always looks weird.
It always looks a little off. I mean, Wonder Woman looked super off. They try to do it from like the front angle, and the motions were right as far as what Gal Gadot was doing, but it didn't, like the way the background transferred. It kind of looked like see if this sounds weird. It kind of felt like the way the background looks when you're in a car in a sitcom. Mm-hmm. Like it passed, and I know it passed at what is technically the right rate, but somehow it didn't. It just didn't feel right. I mean, there's that. I mean, shit. Like I don't know that I've ever seen it just right.
Yeah, no, and it ultimately comes down to like if I stare at it and I'm like, it looks like shit.
Yeah,
but
there's that.
On the other hand, I'm just like, it's fine. I'll say this: what Snyder's doing here is the best I've seen it.
Yeah,
except for maybe I mean, they're going for two different things, but I really like the X-Men movies thing with Quicksilver. Like, I really like the way that they portrayed it there.
Really?
Well, because he wasn't just running constantly. It wasn't just like, it was just like...
He'd stop to taste soup.
Yeah, like, I really like that everything is just super slowed down, and that tells us, oh, he's moving really freaking fast.
Yeah, for him, it's just, time is beside the point.
That's what made it feel true
I like
to
the
me.
moments where Barry talks about how, like, man, just the city for me is so boring. I mean, everyone's still. It's like running through a museum.
Yeah,
He can't find events that happen for him quickly enough for them to actually be events. They're all just still, like motion capture, still frames. He just doesn't have the moment. Also, by the way, and to the point of the posing and how it looks, man, I love the fact that I really love the little motion where he taps the ground before he starts off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It makes me happy. I think it looks good on screen. That I don't have any justification for it. I just think it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of his pose looks it looks pretty shitty. Like he's leaning on one leg. That back leg, I'm not sure exactly what it's doing, but I don't know. I mean, these are not meant to be normal mechanics. It's not going to come across the same way. Like if I was running a 100-meter or something, we should not be doing the same thing.
But yeah, no, I'm okay with whatever they're doing. I don't care. Like the thing is, like I'm biggest into with Barry in this Snyder trailer is like we got a bird's eye view this time of him running and the ground like assembling underneath his feet as he was running.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. And maybe I'm just stupid or something. And I'm not thinking of some incredibly pertinent comic book thing, but I don't remember that.
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is when he moves between dimensions, he's kind of creating pathways between those dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it leads me.
Okay.
Like, yeah, there's not the Flash is fast enough. He moves between time if he wants to and dimensions if he really wants to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that looks like in between. And I think it was a really good visual conception or conceptualization of what that could look like. Like, we're they're having to come up with something to justify it. Also, I'm just literally paused right now as we're talking on the moment where he's like the lightning starts to spark. He's still in that one leg leaning over really hard, like he's stretching more than running kind of pose. Mm-hmm. And it just feels like there's a dog in the background. Like just chilling, like not even any kind of like maybe a shepherdish kind of dog, like looks like a mutt.
Okay.
Not even sure what's going on there. I'm kind of curious now. Yeah, I think there was just a dog in the background. I think there's just a dog in the background of that scene.
That's weird and funny.
Just gonna pause it again, and yep, still looks like a dog. All right. So next bit is, how do you know the team's strong enough? It's just Batman getting eaten up by some fucking parademons.
Yeah, man.
Wonder Woman just like slightly moving her head to the side to dodge.
Yep.
That was a good shot. Like, yeah, of course she processes things so quickly. She's just like, yeah. And one of this line alone, I have a feeling you love this line too.
Yeah. You can't bring down the charging bull. Don't wave the red cape at it. Yeah, man.
That was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Are we going to credit Chris Terrio? Because
oh, God, I would assume.
I assume too. And God bless you, man. That's so good.
And it just, God, it makes me ache for more Ben Affleck stuff with Jeremy Irons. I love this Alfred so much.
It was a great Alfred, and they had a good chemistry.
I agree. I want more of that Alfred.
And they were in a good spot in their career where it's slightly unexplored material. There's a lot to love there.
Yeah, and like they've got that chemistry much like Goff and Keaton did. I feel like, like I specifically feel like Goff and Keaton had such good chemistry in those in their two movies. Like, and Goff was great in like all four of them. Like he's the saving grace of Batman and Robin for me. Like he gets me every time when he tells his niece, when one grows ancient, one longs for family. I'm like, oh, Oh, she doesn't know he's dying yet. Oh. Like,
it's a good line. It's a good line delivered well.
His Alfred is sick storyline is like the only good thing about that movie.
Yeah, it was solid.
He just, God, he's got so much class and panache, man. He just like kills it.
Yeah, brings some gravitas to the table that the rest of the production left behind a little bit.
But I always think of that with Goff and Keaton, like the brilliance of their relationship all boils down to like Bruce sitting in the Batcave, like looking at like the old, you know, he's like, oh, did you get the file on my parents? He's like, yeah, it's up there. You know, he's looking through it, or he's about to start looking through it. And Alfred turns around and goes, I have no desire to spend my few remaining years grieving for the loss of old friends or their sons. It's like, damn, dude. He just calling him on his shit right here. Right in front of all of us. You know?
It's one of the most important Alfred roles that Alfred plays, is just occasionally calling fucking Bruce on his shit. But
it's so good because he like still knows his place to some degree, but Bruce knows him well enough. So like Bruce is gonna stop and go before he even says it, he's like, what's on your mind, Alfred? Like he already knows Alfred's upset about something. He's annoyed. And that's when he like hits him with that line. You're like,
yeah, but you can tell he's not just like dismissively like, what are you talking about? Like, you can tell he cares and he wants to know actually what he's thinking. And then you can tell it's a little bit devastating when he actually says it.
Yeah, like, absolutely. So like I get the same feelings from Irons and Affleck when I see Batman v Superman. He's like, you know, is this who we are now? And he's like, we've always been criminals.
Yeah.
Like Affleck's annoyed that he has to explain this to Alfred, but he's more annoyed that Alfred's right.
Yeah, like this is a 25-year-old conversation for them.
Yeah.
They know the ins and outs. The subtleties are commonplace. They don't have to, there's no need for exposition. And I also appreciate the fact as fans that we were not given, we were not mansplained about how that relationship worked.
And some people needed it, apparently. Like, some people are just like, oh, everybody's this is the murderverse. And I'm like, do you not see how pissed Alfred is? Are you not listening to their whole, like, every interaction they have is Alfred being like, dude, this is bullshit. And Ben Affleck going, no, this is what's needed.
This way and this way.
20 years in Gotham, Alfred. You know, like the whole, oh my God.
How many men stayed good?
We've seen what promises are worth. So I mean, I want to watch it again, and I'm just trying to hold off until that freaking IMAX version gets out there.
No, I did. I did. Night before last. Yeah.
We're gonna have to do our commentary episodes for Patreon because I'm chomping at the bit to watch these things again.
Yeah, I tweeted about it too, but it happens regularly where I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to throw this on the background. And then I'll just sit down and like a couple hours go by and I've just watched the end of the movie.
Yeah.
What really fucks with me is there's so in the garage, we just kind of had like a spare TV that still has, it's a Roku TV. So it still has access to everything, including now HBO Max. So I'll throw it on in the background sometimes. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be going in and out of the garage, doing whatever home repair or whatever the fuck it's honestly mostly home repairs. And yeah, I'm going to go in and out of this over and over again. So yeah, I'm going to throw it on. I'll walk through and see a scene and think, oh, that's good. Maybe pause for a second here. And then I'll find myself being like, and then I'll actually pause that and come back to it later when everyone's asleep and I can go back downstairs to my office and watch. Yeah. And just 2 hours go by. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to watch the scene. No, that's not how that worked out.
It's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so that freaking John Kent picture hitting the water and sinking, and then to hear Kevin Costner, that voiceover, you were sent here for a reason, and even if it takes you the rest of your life, find out what that reason is. With like freaking reborn Superman in the black and silver doing the Man of Steel gravity loss thing, taking off and then transforming into what I hope is Cyborg's first flight.
Yeah.
All of that, like, dude, got me in the feels. Like, I choked. Like, I choked as soon as I saw John Kent hit the water. I was like, and you see, like, Superman laying down. It looks like he's laying down in the background. You're like, Oh no.
Okay, hold on. I have a couple questions and thoughts about that. Let's get to it. I'm just gonna hit play again. I'm watching Aquaman take a shot with his trident and miss. Then don't wave the red cape at it. That scene. So they're sitting around, but they're not dressed up. It's not the like I don't care how many devils he's faced and how many hell kind of thing.
Right.
It feels like parts of that scene were shot and released in the theatrical cut. And then we have the shot of what looks like maybe the Brooklyn Bridge. It's been a minute since I've been to New York. But with the black Superman logo on it, Lois Lane looking up, we know what that's about to lead to. Because that's an entirely different scene now, apparently. And then we just have these fuckers coming in, and then Uxas. Uxas.
Yeah.
No Y sound. Uxas.
Yeah.
Just swinging.
As far as I know.
Swinging his damn axe. And I almost wondered, like, does Uxas get so powerful that he just doesn't need a fucking axe anymore? And he's like, yeah, here you go, Steppenwolf, you can have this.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like, I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Darkseid doesn't need a weapon.
I mean, they're the new gods, so at some point there were old gods, and maybe he was doing the Steppenwolf job. And,
he's fourth world. There were, God knows whatever happened before. So, and I don't know. And Darkseid is obviously the tagline. So no matter where you go, and he even survived the Scott Snyder take on the universe. He's fine. He's still fucking Darkseid, and there were storylines built around the whole Darkseid is.
Yeah, I think Alan Davis had him stuck in the fourth wall for a minute, but no, he got out of that.
He did get stuck. Yeah.
Did I say fourth wall? Source wall.
Source wall. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fourth
wall. Yeah.
So, all right. So there's this shot though where it's this. What is it like? Kevin Costner fishing.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like him with a smallmouth bass, maybe. Where it just looks like this like super down home kind of photo. In what looks like the same amber fucking liquid from what was it called? The Genesis Bowl?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That sure as hell looks like Henry Cavill being lowered into it.
Or maybe having crawled out of it, and I don't know. We'll see.
I think he's being... I'm going to go back. He's going down. I'm not sure by what mechanism he's going down, but he's going down. And it's kind of after the photo has gone down. So I feel very good about the transfer of motion here. That dude is going in that pit.
Okay. And
then we just get to like some wide shots of, you were sitting here for a reason. That's, just Ray Fisher fucking owning the screen there for a second.
With his arms outstretched.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
Yeah, it's a good shot. Yeah.
Wonder Woman reaching out for her sword. Just another. Did you leave this trailer thinking, oh, God, that was gorgeous?
I didn't leave it. I've been stuck inside of it since it came out.
Thinking the whole time, oh, so pretty. It's so pretty. I want to insure it with my local insurance agent. So I saw, there's Wonder Woman reaching out for the sword. There's Aquaman just like holding back the water. And by the way, is that the same Aquaman holding back the water scene from the theatrical cut?
I think it is probably, but it's going to be in a different place in the movie, from what I understand.
Okay. It's the same moment, but I didn't know where to contextualize that. I mean, it's Aquaman doing his thing. Then we've got Iris and Barry meeting.
Yep. Happy to see that back in.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
And actually, realized visually, because so much of that scene has not been completely finished. It's just been sort of like half CGI animatic.
Yeah. And I think, short of a couple of released screenshots, and I want to say a couple of just like drawings of storyboards. I think this is the first. I think this is her official introduction.
Yeah,
and sounds fantastic.
I mean, we've seen pictures, but
I've seen the picture of just her kind of on the ground being held a little bit at the sides.
Yeah,
and I've definitely seen pictures of her on her feet, but that was about it. And it was mostly in stories where they're like, "Well, this scene was cut."
Yep.
And we got Bruce being cold, and then Bruce being Batman.
Freaking Bat Tank.
Hold on, we're not quite to Bat Tank. I'm actually kind of curious. I think that's still Steppenwolf in the background with Wonder Woman fighting him.
Yeah.
Where he's just like holding off parademons with his gauntlets.
Yeah.
And then we've got a quick shot of Superman, shirtless Superman. I'm sure something that, like, if I had to entice my wife to watch this film, that would be the scene I would show her.
Yep.
We're like, well, there's 10 seconds of this and that. Okay, cool.
Hey, look, man candy.
I get it. I understand objectively that he's a snack. Not fighting anybody on that.
That dude's a whole damn meal.
Not fighting anybody on it. All right, and then we go to... All right, this is one of the coolest shots. This is him, like, gathering whatever the fuck it is that we're using as his mechanism for taking off. Mm-hmm. It's clearly an allusion to the coffin.
Yeah.
He's still in the black, and he's just, like, gathering bits and particles around his fists.
Well, I mean, it's what happened in Man of Steel when he puts his fist down on the ground and the rocks
just a little bit, yeah,
float, and he, like, jumps and flies.
Yeah. Whatever the hell the mechanism is, he apparently can just confuse the fuck out of gravity for a second.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it looks cool.
Oh, it looks great. And I think there's, like, at least a couple mechanisms that would make that make sense. So it is not problematic for me. Then we got Cyborg flying. They go to the other thing. Steppenwolf. All right. So major shot. We got 2 back-to-back, as though the whole thing's not major. We got Batman on the fucking tank.
Yeah, from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Didn't even know that was going to happen.
Nope.
Haven't heard a damn thing out of Snyder's mouth about that.
Nope.
Not even during the Pasadena director's cut thing. Yeah, this was new. This was new.
Yeah. You know what I learned from this shot? I would not want to play poker with Zack Snyder.
No.
Like, for him to keep that so close to his vest for so long. Good job, man.
Yeah, that is it's impressive.
Yeah.
I really like McFarlane, whoever, Hot Wheels, I want that tank.
Yes. Like, how would you not be so excited about that shot that you kind of blew your load a little bit? It's impressive that he didn't.
And like, oh, and here's why Ben came back.
Yeah. That the reveal of this happened so late in the game when so many things were already in the can is just, got to give Zach a ton of credit. I mean, obviously we're super excited about everything, but I mean, dude, man, extra credit for that, for keeping that a secret and just that being a reveal. Fuck. Good job.
Yep.
Little portholes open. I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea of what to do with it, but
I mean, he's staring at what could be a ship in the background. I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not sure about anything. This was a surprise, a glorious one. All right, so Barry and his father, fantastic.
Yep.
Cyborg getting some rush of energy and dealing with it. I don't know.
I would assume information from the mother box.
I would assume too. I don't know what to do with that exactly, but
looks cool.
Yeah, look good. Good transition, especially for the trailer. There's a moment where Steppenwolf is getting the mother box from. I mean, I assume it was the the Aqua universe in general.
Yeah, because he still had to get the one that the Atlanteans were guarding.
Yeah, he's in the water as he grabs what is clearly a mother box. Then we just go into some like hero shots. A what?
A motherboard box.
Then we just go into some hero shots of people doing some cool shit. And then another hero shot of like one of the few, I think, crossovers of the theatrical and this cut is going to be them, unloading from that ship. But in better perspective, a little bit more to offer visually. Them walking at the back. They said the age of heroes would never come again.
Yeah.
And then some shots that I remember from the trailer. Like, I think the second trailer, I could easily be wrong about that. Like, I think I remember seeing Batman swoop down that way and Aquaman come up that other way.
Absolutely, but they were all like oversaturated in red.
Yes, there was that going on. And in all fairness, to what did go well versus what didn't, I was hearing that over a cut of Come Together. And I have not disguised my love or my willingness to forgive blind spots for the Beatles. So I understand that that's a personal problem of mine, but damn, I was into it.
Yeah, I didn't have like the huge problems with the red that a lot of people still have. I mean, it just looks like invaders fighting superheroes, colors in the background. Either way, like it's just like, okay, well, Snyder's version is really dark, blues and grays. Whedon's version was pinks and reds for some reason. Whatever. Like I guess I just
could be.
I mean, so far, I'm digging what Snyder did more, but that wasn't the big failing of Justice League.
They all specifically had like personalized shots where they were, I don't know, the trailer amped itself up a little bit, and they hopped up the speed. Yeah. So
Justice League Theatrical was a great 2004 superhero movie. Hopefully, we'll get a Justice League for 2021.
We all remember loving this movie in 1997, but
I mean, it's better than Batman and Robin.
But that's kind of thing. Like, as far as the expectations go and how far they fell, I totally get it. As far as is this the worst CBM we've ever seen? No, just no.
No, Elektra exists.
It is not the worst CBM ever.
Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance exists.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah.
Tank Girl exists.
These are all real things.
You have to climb a pretty steep hill to get to Batman and Robin, honestly. Yeah. Like, Supergirl 1984 exists.
Yeah. Yeah. These are all real things. Like it's a long haul, and honestly, anyone who's willing to have that conversation, I feel like understands the context of it. Like, you didn't just tune in 2000. Let's call it 2001. When is that when Batman Begins came out?
2005 was Batman Begins.
Oh shit, sorry. Let's say you didn't just tune in for Batman. You probably have some context. You probably know that you've seen some bad films. You probably know that you've seen some truly bad films. You understand that you live in a world where Meteor Man was released to theaters.
I mean, I think there was a comedic element to that movie.
I understand. But
that gives it a lot of leeway.
It does.
Especially in the 90s.
Specifically that. Absolutely. But you also
and then when you consider the fact that, they didn't have many black superheroes back then, it was like Meteor Man and Blank Man.
Oh, yeah. No. So those two were competing to be the campiest.
I actually had a lot of fun with Blank Man, but I love David.
I'm not saying I didn't have fun with them. I did. But back in the days when I was like going to an actual store and walking through the shelves and picking a thing down and taking it home physically. Yeah, there was a lot to love there. We're in a different era. We have seen some bad shit. We really have. We have seen some stuff that it was not good. We can disagree about how good these things are, but man, we have to at least agree that there are levels.
90s direct-to-video Captain America.
Oh, that was rough.
70s direct-to-TV Captain America.
All right, that was good for all the wrong reasons.
70s direct-to-television Captain America 2. I have them both on DVD. Series.
Oh, not the one that
either,
but not the recent one.
Right, not the recent one. The USA show. Yeah.
You could argue that Toxic Avengers was better.
Toxic Crusaders or Toxic Avenger?
I thought it was Toxic Avengers, but
Well, there was the Toxic Avenger movies that had Toxie, but then there was the cartoon that was Toxic Crusaders where he had a team, and it was way less bare titties.
Okay, with zero research, I would be happy to argue that possibly they were derivative.
Well, yeah, I mean, they totally just made their own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show with Trauma Films. Like, that's what they did.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, like Trauma was just like, oh, we could do this, but with Toxie. Okay, yeah, same character. It's just way more kid friendly.
Yeah,
I have
most
most of the figures
shows that you watched when you were like. Did you have this experience where you were like, it's 2 a.m. at your grandparents' house or something? Like everyone was asleep 4 hours ago. And no one made sure you were asleep. So you just get free reign over actually getting to watch stuff. And of course, given our age, we were in the age of actually going to a television and flipping channels. And you just got to watch whatever the fuck was actually happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of what was happening on USA, in my memory, late in the game before certain things changed, was deeply weird and a lot of fun. Like I think that's where I saw Weird Science.
Oh man, I used to watch Weird Science on Saturdays.
Yeah.
It wasn't even late. It was just like 9 o'clock on Saturdays. Like they played Weird Science. That's what lulled me into my mood to watch Star Trek DS9 and Voyager, which were back to back.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Like I was like, oh, I just gotta wait for this damn news to be over. Weird Science is over. Now I just got like 30 minutes to wait for the news to be done. Then Deep Space Nine. See what happens with the Dominion War this week.
Nice.
Yeah, me and Matt Carroll used to like sit on the phone and talk about how Vanessa Angel was hotter than what's her face from the movie, from the Weird Science movie. Yeah, I don't remember her name now, but I just looked it up the other day because I was talking to my wife.
Still arguable.
I'm not sure I agree with myself now from back then.
Nope, still arguable. I
might look now and go.
That was a subset of two very pretty people. So
oh yeah, but like now as older, I'm like, yeah, but to me as a kid back then, I'm just like looking and going like, oh man, she looks current, man. She's she looks attractive based on what I understand. But like now looking back, I'm like, I don't know. The other one, Kelly LeBrock, she was actually probably hotter. It was just the 80s were throwing me off.
Yeah. No, the perception part comes in waves.
Yeah. So, and of course, the movie had, what's his face? I remember his name from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't remember his real name. Bill Paxton.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it did.
And a very young Robert Downey Jr. dumping a slushie on the two protagonists' heads in the mall.
Jesus. I forgot about all that.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I watched
Hall the movie?
I think so. I think he was.
Or the show?
He was the movie.
Okay.
The show where, I don't think I knew either of the guys from the show.
I watched the show pretty religiously, but I do not remember anything about it at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's been...
No, I mean, it's fine.
Approximately 24 years.
I don't feel like it actually had, and maybe I'm wrong, it was like five seasons. I don't think it had like a real overarching story, but it was damn entertaining week by week. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I could see that.
This shot of Black Superman, Black Suit Superman
is Black Superman, and I feel like he's just geared up, waiting to
just eyebolting
hate me for that sidebar. I mean, there's a full grimace, the eyes are red, and the suit is black.
Yeah, did you see like all the people talking about this Superman is pure evil? This is not Superman. I'm like, yes, this is an out of context angry Superman. Did you see on Twitter how like I just like gathered all these pictures of angry Superman from being? I did.
I have a couple of them on my walls.
It's like the most ridiculous argument I've ever seen. Superman
I normally lean into like the idea of like, oh, let's take people's arguments seriously, and this is one of those where I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself. that like we, first of all, it's not unprecedented, and second, we're moving in a direction here. So even if you do disagree with current soups, there's a whole plan.
Yeah. And look, man, even the best of us are cranky when we wake up.
Oh God, I'm
this man just
inconsolable.
came back from the dead.
Yeah. I can't even imagine for myself.
To find that all his shit's being messed up by some alien invaders. No.
His shit being burnt. I can't even imagine.
All right. So we get the,
Red Bruce, it has to.
Yeah, it has to. And then we get the stinger at the trailer.
The whole
We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. Mm-hmm. Isn't that right? Batman. And it's the Joker in a SWAT jacket in the Knightmare timeline. Mm-hmm. How did you feel about that, man?
I have so many loves. All right, so where to start?
I don't know. Did you feel like Joker sounded Irish?
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either. And then my wife said, "Why does he sound Irish?" And I swear to God, every time I've heard it after it, he sounds Irish to me. He's like, "We live in a society where honor is a distant memory." Like, that's what I hear now. That's what I hear now. And it cracks her
he's
up.
Just attenuating the end of his sentences. I think that's all that is.
And my response was stop. But in my heart, I was just thinking like, no, it's the Joker. He can do whatever he wants, really. I mean, Joker changes from day to day. I mean, no one's explaining why he's got this. He doesn't have the tattoos anymore.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So, all right. I think that's a. All right.
Did I just ruin it for you
Restarting
now?
again. That's just the way he was phrasing himself. I didn't think that was weird or off-putting or particularly Irish in particular. I feel like that was just how he was phrasing himself these days. And if we're looking back into how, and by the way, help me out with this. Is it Leto or Leto?
Leto.
Sorry, it's been a minute, and I knew something was off for me, and it's I couldn't remember how that.
I say his name every week on the show.
Yeah, it's every time I think
it has not been a minute.
Every time I think his name should be Letto for it to be Leto, but
your excuses fail.
Just so we're on board. Yeah, I didn't think that sounded strange to me, but I could accept that.
I mean, I guess.
Overall, no.
Yeah.
Just overall, no. Is
I
my
didn't hear it until she said it, and now that's all I hear. And
no,
because
even
I'm
then, just
easily
no.
swayed.
Like even then, he's very deliberate about his phrasing, but it's not weird. It's not un-American as far as the dialect.
Right. Well, I don't want it to sound like my wife was going, "What's that accent he's got? That's an American." Because that's not what she was doing at all.
No, your wife would be more specific about where it came from, which is what she did. I just don't think that I don't agree on this one.
Fair enough. I mean, I would rather hear that. I don't want her to be right.
I think it makes sense. Also,
not in this situation, I don't.
His arrival in this trailer. But by the way, did you see this? I don't know who put it together, but it must be 60 different reaction takes to this trailer. And hilariously, there's just Jody in the top left corner. Looking like a still frame the entire time. But yeah, it's I forget how they phrased the description of it, but yeah, it's just every take on top of each other. So much so that like when they've synced up the audio of the dialogue that's narrating the trailer, it still sounds a little devilish because you can't sync it up so precisely.
Yeah.
And the major reaction is when Leto turns his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, isn't that right, Batman? Is just the major turning point for a lot of people for this trailer.
In a positive way or a negative way?
Oh, no. And a super, just like, the audio blew out.
Gotcha.
It was enthusiastic.
Okay. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of reaction videos, but yeah, no, I'll have to look at that. I'm interested to see that now. All right. Well, we have finished the first page of 13.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get on with it.
So we're there.
Yeah. So apparently, the Snyder Cut's going to have 10 minutes of intermission.
Mm-hmm.
If it's ever in theaters. Snyder said he was telling I guess it's Minutemen or just the Minutemen. I don't know. Says it's 4 hours of picture and then the credits. I think it goes over. It does go over 4 hours by a few minutes, but that's because of the titles. Because there's a lot of people that worked on the movie. If ever the movie is ever to be viewed in a cinema, we have a 10-minute intermission, which is built into the movie. It has like a beautiful suite of music, so that adds an extra 10 minutes to the movie. Right. I don't think I've ever been to a movie that had an intermission.
There was a re-release of Gone with the Wind at some point.
I remember watching Gone with the Wind on VHS, and it started an intermission, and then you had to take out the tape and put in another tape.
No, I mean,
but
built in like that, yeah. That I went to an actual theater to watch Gone with the Wind at some point.
Okay.
And there was an intermission. I do not remember how long that was.
Fair enough. So Alvaro on Vero says to Zach, will we see jokes like Bruce telling Arthur, I hear you talk to fish, or have you wiped them out now? And Snyder just said, not a lot of jokes.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's going to be there.
You don't think so? I actually liked that joke.
It wasn't a bad joke.
It felt very Batman the Animated Series to me.
Yeah.
The Justice's Gray Edition is coming. Zach has said that he's working on a Justice's Gray Edition. It's going to be the black and white version. We already knew this. He already said he really wanted to put out a black and white version of it.
Yeah.
And now he's actually put out stills of it and said that he's working on it. And that's exciting. I'm interested to see a black and white version. I'll watch however many damn versions he puts out.
Yeah, he's working on it.
But then again, I love the black and white version of Logan. Like, I bought that Blu-ray with both. It's like, oh, it looks so good.
Yeah. That's a good shot. I mean, there were a lot of good shots from that black and white.
Yes. No, he was telling the Minutemen part of the reason I really wanted to do the scene between Batman and Joker in the Knightmare sequence was because I felt like this universe, it was important to me that Batman and Joker have a scene together. He says the Batman versus Joker conflict is central to the universe. He says it seemed odd to me, or a shame, that we haven't seen them together. And frankly, it was a conflict that I had planned for, the Knightmare sequence. I was excited to get the opportunity to do it, to have a little taste of it, so I thought it was important for fans to see their Batman and this cinematic universe's Joker come into some small conflict. Yeah, I agree. That was one of the things that, like, I've just been like, man, I would have loved to have seen those guys together, because we never really did.
I agree that it's valuable, and I appreciate it. I just, seems like he took advantage of a moment where it may not be that consequential, but him taking advantage of that moment was a really good call.
Yeah. I'm very grateful. Whatever happens.
Yeah.
I'll be very interested to see what this is. On the same show, he said, the reality is, as far as I know, there's no interest and or appetite to do more of these movies from Warner Brothers, with me anyway. But I didn't think finishing this film correctly would ever happen. But I did do my best to, as far as the creation of Justice League, those different personalities being brought together, that idea, that's what this movie is about. Mm-hmm. There is a suggestion, of course, in the film, as there would be within any of these movies, of a larger universe that's still out there. And to me, this sounds like he's reiterating, look, this is not in the bag. You guys have to fight for this. You have to make sure this is a success, because AT&T they like money.
Oh, yeah. Money will guide this. Period.
If Hamada and Emmerich can go, take a piss off a bridge, if this thing does well, HBO Max is going to make more.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, I think that's the implication here. And, Kevin Smith said, in response to, that article that said it was a cul-de-sac, Kevin Smith had said, I happen to know that the ending that he's got for the Snyder Cut is very not a cul-de-sac. He said, it takes it to a weird neighborhood, but it's not a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
You saw those pictures of Leto's Joker that they released before the trailer with him sitting in that hallway.
Yep.
Looks fantastic.
I
don't
love
care
the idea that that's the Arkham prison model.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Like,
and
hey, let's just lay 100 yards of concrete before. That sounds right.
And Zach was asked about the missing tattoos, and he just said, I would say that there's been some water under the bridge. Who knows what happened? I don't know if he's wearing makeup. I don't know what's happening. It's hard to say exactly. It's like the creator's version of, I didn't like him.
Yeah.
They didn't fit what I was doing. But, I've seen some people bitch about
David
it.
Ayer, he specifically the face tattoos. He, in the last couple months, has been like, that wasn't my best choice.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people be like, whoa, what could have happened? What could have happened? Oh, I'm like, I don't know. What could have? Maybe he cut his own face off. Maybe he cut his own face off and then fell into a freaking Lazarus pit fighting to the death with Batman and then grew another one. Because that's never been done in DC Comics before.
Need extra money for college? ISL Education Lending Scholarship Program provides $1,000 for college expenses. Registration is easy and no essay is required. Visit www.iowastudentloan.org/register to learn more. The scholarship is open to Iowa residents who are in high school and college students, as well as parents of those students. Register by November 30th for your chance at one of the 45 awards at www.iowastudentloan.org/register.
I really like this. Zach was talking about the differences between the blue suit and the black suit. He says the black suit, you can say that in modern Krypton when he left, everyone was wearing black suits. So it's sort of linked to, in some ways, the old world. I think it's a more direct relationship to his family. In a lot of ways, the blue suit to me represents his place on Earth. The blue suit is his suit of a hero, the suit of his destiny, whereas the black suit is more personal in a lot of ways, more about his family. One is outward, one is inward. And I think that those things, the expression of that could be, well, let's put it this way. It was always my intention with the larger arc of the movies to realize that more completely, but I think you get a sense of it here.
Yeah, I like that.
I dig it. Now, the Snyder Cut is going to be released March 18th on HBO Max in the US and on Crave in Canada. And it's going to be available on HBO Go territories in Asia and on HBO services in Europe, across the Nordics, Central Europe, Spain, and Portugal. And it is going to launch in Latin America later in 2021 on HBO Max. And, because there's been a lot of conversation about how it's not releasing internationally. And Zach said, all of this is out of my hands, sadly. I wish I was in charge of that as well. I'm unfortunately not. And so there has been not amazing work done with the distribution of the movie. He says, I don't know why that is. I honestly couldn't put my finger on it. I don't want to seem like there's some sort of conspiracy out there. I don't think so. I think part of the problem is no one saw the movie coming. I think that the normal window, or the normal way people in Hollywood distribute movies, is they understand when the movie gets made that it's going to have to be distributed, and they have a 2-year window to figure that all out. The problem is this happened in 6 months, it came to life, and it's caught everyone off guard. And I think, and also the demand has caught everyone off guard. I do believe that even when the movie was sort of greenlit, the Snyder Cut version was greenlit, I don't know that there was a sense of urgency or an understanding of the worldwide demand that would be required of distribution and the studio and everyone to satisfy. So, everybody wants it.
Yeah.
Except for some sad guys on the internet.
You could argue for sure that they had that information.
That people wanted it?
Yeah.
So you think it's a conspiracy? You think he's being
not
nice?
necessarily a conspiracy. Just, you could argue that part was out there.
Sounds conspiratorial to me.
Nah.
Sounds like Jason with a tinfoil hat to me. I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I think Snyder's being right. I think he's being nice. I think he's saying, like, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but, you know.
I feel like conspiracy wasn't necessarily the right word. I feel like what he could have said was, I'm not saying that there were certain people that were roadblocks.
Less than enthusiastic.
to getting out this vision. And that in retrospect, there were plenty of people that would have been happy to see this vision. I'm just saying that turns out, having gone forward the way we have, there's plenty of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to Snyder, the reason Swanwick turns into Martian Manhunter for this, he says, I think that Martian Manhunter is an example of, like, it may be Superman, and frankly, the rest of the Justice League's example of fighting for what they believe might be part of the reason we're sort of seeing Martian Manhunter out in his true form at this point. He says, you know, the threat of Darkseid is pretty great. Not to say that Earth wasn't in peril before, but this one feels like you can't watch it burn anymore.
Yeah, that sense alone, that there's an instigating moment where he's like, I can't just lay back anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
And isn't there, like, did you see that Harry Lennix, the guy playing Swanwick, said that justice would be done when the fans campaigned and achieved a standalone Martian Manhunter movie?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll take it.
I'm in.
Yep. So I don't want to get too deep into this because a lot of it has nothing to do with DC. But you know, Ray Fisher still wants an apology. He says Walter Hamada still owes an apology to the participants of the Justice League investigation. That part is very much DC related. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Charisma Carpenter from Buffy and Angel, she was Cordelia, came out and had many words to say about Joss Whedon, and pretty much that entire cast is now turned on Whedon.
Not kind
this week.
Gotcha.
No. The most damning thing, everything was just like, you know, the Whedon, you know, fan base. Mm-hmm. Who are still defending him. We're just like, oh yeah, he's an asshole. Yep, he just sounds like a dick. Yep, and then, like, Michelle Trachtenberg came out and says, I wasn't allowed to be alone in a room with him. And everybody went, oh.
Yeah.
Just a moment of silence for our fandom.
I can't stress this enough. If a choice that Gal made 25 years later matches the choice that a 13, 14-year-old made on the same set with the same personnel, if they're on the same page about the abusiveness of that personality, God damn it, we've got to fucking give it a second and take that fucking seriously.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm taking it seriously for a while now. Since Ray started speaking out, I was like, oh shit.
If you were in any way thinking, well, let's just give it a minute, yeah, this should be the moment where you're like, okay, let me go to the other side and let's really investigate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be, you know, misogynistic and a cheating bastard, but for a little girl to
set of problems. But
for a little girl to actually have it put in where they can't, no, that's not good. That's that's a different level.
It's not a good look.
That is a different level.
For it to be happening 20-something years later, where people don't want to be in the same room with you as the director, it's not good.
Yep. And after all that, Ray Fisher today said, there's only one reason that I haven't been sued by Joss Whedon, Toby Emmerich, Jeff Johns, John Berg, or Walter Hamada. Mm-hmm. They know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, they would have stopped me in my tracks if I was wrong.
That's true, though. I mean, if they, you know, there would be a real investigation if they, like, actually did anything. Like, legal people would get involved. Like, it would be messy. And,
yeah, I mean, you could argue that, like, he's just moving so fast that the legal process hasn't caught up. But
these high-powered Hollywood so-and-sos can throw out a cease and desist real the hell quick.
Yeah, that's not how these things actually work. Yeah, they would have shut him the absolute fuck up if there wasn't something. Like, at this point, the prolonged nature of the matter. Man, I hate to say that, like, evidence of a thing is evidence of itself, but shit.
It don't look good, man.
It don't look good.
Matthew Salvatore wants to know, how do you think Batman's Dark Knight Returns tank factors into the film? I've been trying to think when and where it could show up, and I'm drawing a blank.
I don't know.
I don't either. I really don't. I honestly don't.
I want to say kind of in the last third. I'm not trying to make like a third act thing here.
Yeah.
This film will go way beyond acts, but I want to say in the last part, because it seems like something that he would bring to the final fight.
It does. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, at this point, like the tank was such a surprise to me that I don't feel like I have an adequate amount of information anymore.
No, you shouldn't. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Like, I keep seeing people on our social media and stuff be like, I don't want any more. The trailers are ruining the movie. I don't think they are, buddy. I don't think they are.
No, we've seen
like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes of 4
maybe
hours.
4 minutes. Maybe.
Maybe. Of a 4 hour. No, I think we're good.
There's plenty.
I think we're good.
So much left to uncover.
And I hate it. I hate not being able to answer Matthew's question, but I just don't know.
I don't either. I want to say maybe in the last, let's say, quarter of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, I don't know.
I don't even know about that.
More importantly, I'm just really pumped that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to see that in live film and to see it attached to like Batfleck of all things, that's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh fuck! It's a blessed moment.
Yes. Pud333 says over on Twitter, do you think Snyder is angling for a sequel once
Yes.
This one is a success? Yes. He says it feels like it to me. We're getting a to be continued without it actually saying it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'd asked for questions, thoughts, and demands. So he also offered us a thought. I'm going to have a tasty beer tonight. And a demand, answer my question or else. I say it's answered. I mean, restore the Snyderverse. I think we're all pretty we're on the same page here, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see the end of this. And even if you don't want to see the rest of this, you should be angling for this and hoping for it, because if they don't do it, we're never going to hear the end of it. These people don't give up.
Yeah. There's that. It is a rabid, voracious fan base, and I mean that in all the best ways. The fight has been there the entire time, and I feel like you either get this or you don't. And as the production company, you're making a very serious choice right now. Like, you either do this thing to the best of your ability, or you accept that you will be hounded until the day your career ends, and then past the days that you've erased and scrubbed your social media.
Yeah, and
because that's where we are.
I have felt this way from time to time, a lot of the time. But, yes, it's aggravating that, you can't put out a tweet about an actor who was in a bunch of your movies dying without people screaming, release the Snyder Cut.
Oh,
that's obnoxious.
No, that's obnoxious. Yeah.
But it did get the job done, and you're running a business, and that's capitalism, supply and demand.
Yeah.
So, if you know that there's a demand.
Yeah. Demand is not going to be well coordinated and tactful. It will often be sloppy. And, some of this response has for sure been sloppy. And honestly, at times, fucking terrible.
Offensive.
Yeah. But
strange. Yeah. But again, it got the job done. And if,
the overwhelming majority of the people who were involved are not part of that, little subset I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's largely just been a very passionate fan base looking for a thing, and I get that. And not giving it to them at this point it's not like they're not a major studio and couldn't just make another decision. It's
right.
As I'm sure this guy understands, it's a business decision. Like it made more sense to do it than not. Period. And as long as we keep it in that ballpark, that's our best chance of making this be a thing going forward.
Yeah.
Like, watch it. Watch the fuck out of it. Watch the fuck out of it again. Watch it again just in case. And then keep it on repeat in the background after that.
Yep.
Do all of that, the weekend of 318 and going forward.
Yep.
Let the numbers be what they are, and then keep the social media engagement high. These are the things that we can actually do and have control over. And then that's kind of our best shot. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it does, fantastic.
Yeah.
But we're not going to like bully them into making it happen. We're going to, make it make sense for them
kind of
economically.
happen too, though. But yeah, it has to make sense for them economically. You don't have to be an asshole about it. Just
no. Yeah, we're not boycott this or that is not the way to go.
Be a nice, relentless person.
Yes.
Relentlessly, nicely ask them.
Yes. Yeah. Be persistent and polite, and that is generally the way to get things done with another human in general.
I'll throw this in for Eli Hernandez. You remember the Simpsons where Bill Clinton shows up to talk to Lisa at their house, and Marge is like, "Why would the president of the United States come here to do this?" And he's like, "Well, if you complain enough, things happen." And she goes, "That's a pretty crappy lesson." And he says, "Hey, I'm a pretty crappy president." And that's like the end of the episode.
I don't remember that, but that's really, really funny. The least inspiring and yet truest model that we've seen in some time. And they played saxophone together, right?
Probably. I don't know.
I'm just guessing.
Anyway, let's see. Zach 1983 over on Twitter says, if Snyder's cut is an unquestioned success, would you want Warner Brothers to reconnect the Snyderverse to the new upcoming films? Bonus, after this, would you hope that WB gives their directors more control of their movies? If it's an unquestioned success, I am way more interested in Snyder being able to finish what he wanted to. And everything else is secondary. I want Snyder to be able to finish his thing. Of course, I want the Affleck Deathstroke movie, if that's in the cards in any way.
Yeah.
Anything Snyder wants to do, and it's like I think I'll talk about it later, but David Sandberg has said he's never talked to Snyder. He's never met Snyder. No one ever came to him and said, "Hey, this is in canon," or "Hey, this isn't in canon." He answered a question, people asking him if he's like, "Oh, how much involvement does Snyder have?" And he's like, "I've never spoken to Snyder. I decided it'd be cool if this movie existed in that universe, but also had DC Comics toys."
Right.
He was like, "I've never talked to Snyder." He said no one ever came to him and said this was canon. So, if a director, and I guess this answers the bonus question, I think if the creators involved want it to be a part of the theatrical Justice League, let them do that. If they want it to be in the Snyderverse, let them do that. If they want it to be a separate thing, let them do that. And yeah, I mean, I was having this conversation over on the Stranded Panda chat, I think earlier this week, where I was, look, if the thing about it is like, I used to be more into the notion of, yes, let's do it like Marvel, where everything connects and moves up to a bigger story, but you don't get to, who cares? Like, you don't like Darkseid, and I've seen people on online complaining about Darkseid. They're wasting Darkseid here. They're wasting Darkseid. He's their big Thanos. You're looking at it wrong. Darkseid showed up in at the end of season 1 or 2 of Superman, the animated series. Yeah. You know how many more times that dude showed up? Like, every time they needed a 2-parter, Darkseid shows up.
Yeah, there's plenty more there.
He's always got another anti-life plan. He's always going to do something where he controls Superman. He's always Superman went to Apocalypse and beat the shit out of him, felled him in front of all of his minions, and they helped him up and said, "Come, our Lord Darkseid." And he's like, "See, I told you, they're my slaves. It doesn't matter. You can beat me. They'll just help me up."
Yeah.
And it was one of the most emotionally daunting situations for Superman. It was a greater blow to Superman than any physical punch.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic.
Realizing he broke his own sense of morality and found only that there was no meritocracy there. It was obedience that won.
And it was just unquestioned loyalty.
That's skull breaking for him.
Yeah. So
also, the question is limited by the idea that Darkseid is the greatest big bad of the DC universe.
Yeah, there are bigger bads.
Oh no, there are so many other people to go into.
2 words: anti-monitor.
That doesn't even include the last couple of years where the anti-monitor was just a facet of some of the last things that Scott Snyder put in place.
Yeah, I mean, in a universe where Batman shows up and puts a bullet in Darkseid.
Yeah. Like at this, we're at a point in the DC universe as it currently exists where the anti-monitor is, I mean, he's just a part of what mattered when the source wall was still intact. And by the way, that shit ain't so anymore.
Oh, I know.
It'd be gone.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of, like, you could always create a bigger bad, whether it be Darkseid or, somebody completely different.
Yeah.
Just because you did Darkseid here doesn't mean you couldn't have another solo Superman movie and do Imperiex, or another Justice League movie and do Imperiex, or, God, there's just so many people you could do, so many things you could do in this universe. You could do a Crisis on Infinite Earths, another one. Because, I mean, right now, what are they doing? They're building a multiverse. So,
and just obvious people. Like, it's not like you can't bring in, Fate or and by the way, Dr. Fate is his own bad guy when he wants to be, or when the situation calls for it. And
just
then
like Tony Stark.
Yeah, yeah. And then you've got the entire Lords of Chaos to reign against him if it comes down to, or we've got Spectre, which bless his heart, was on our side, I guess, for most of the Golden Age. But you fucking kidding me? That's a bad man.
And also, the bigger power set doesn't necessarily equal the better villain. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, absolutely not. Yeah. Joker proves that, I think.
Yes. No
beyond any refutation. He's got nothing other than the fact that he likes to be a stick in your crawl.
But what a stick!
Yeah, what a fucking monkey wrench.
So yeah, I just think that that's sort of I get it, but it's also a silly argument to be upset about Darkseid appearing here, and they're wasting it on their fourth
blowing
movie.
Your load here is a problem, is a deep misunderstanding of how this universe works.
Or of how storytelling works, really.
So much more. Yeah, I mean, storytelling in general, but...
I mean, this is all fiction. They can come up with whatever they want.
I mean, they could just whole cloth something, and that'd be fine, as long as they give it a good story. That's cool. But especially within the confines of DC, saying like, well, you did DC, you've blown your whole load. I don't think you've read enough DC.
That is a mighty load to blow.
I mean, yeah, he's fucking Darkseid, but we're not at the end of this rope, man.
Yeah. So, I don't, there's a lot of avenues, a lot of places to go, and I'm down for all of it, whatever they want to do. Giuseppe says, do you think we'll get any dialogue from Granny Goodness in the film? I personally don't have a preference, of whether we do.
Yeah, I could go either way.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm happy just seeing her. If she says something about her Furies, I'll be like, if she says, if we get a scene with her.
I like most of them, except that one I lost.
Yeah.
Barda.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if like one of her Furies is Barda and she's got like, they've got Scott Free tortured and Barda just gives like Scott a flirtatious smile, I'm like, yeah, okay.
All of that would just be fucking ambrosia.
Yeah. Just roll it up. You know what to do. Stick it in my dick hole.
I was going to say smoke it, but that too.
Sure. All right. Joe Forno says, what is Jason's favorite episode of Shining Time Station? And can he sing the theme song on air?
No and no.
Fair enough. He also says, what is your favorite shot of the trailer?
I just literally do not remember a single episode.
Yeah.
Nor do I remember the trailer or the song.
Right. No, I don't know. I eschewed that shit with a vengeance when I was a kid.
I remember seeing him, the visuals, just the overall picture of Ringo in that format. But
I remember being confused because I would like kind of wander through, and one of my little sisters, like my youngest sister, was watching it, and I'd be like, is that George Carlin or Ringo this time? I don't know.
I forgot it was George Carlin too.
Yeah. And then like, finally he'd pop up and I'd kind of, there he is. Okay, it's Ringo. Or, it's George. Cool. Who are these people? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was the baby. So what I was watching was, the Paramount the what is the kid watching discussion.
Yeah.
I have no recollection of that. Like I vaguely remember a Bill Cosby show around the same time that was something that I watched more regularly than that. And I honestly don't think I remember watching that very much at all.
You talking about Fat Albert?
No, it wasn't Fat Albert. It wasn't like the cartoon. It was an actual show where he was trying to like teach things.
Oh, well, I mean, there was like they would have like a teachable moment live action
Was it just
thing.
interstitials?
Yeah, it was like before and after the show.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And then it'd be Fat Albert.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I felt like I was like 2 or 3.
Now you place the pill into the bottle. No, Bill, no.
I'm sure he tried to sell me Puddin' Pops or something. I don't recall. But I will try to record a cover of the song for Patreon.
Oh, God. All right.
In
Joe
honor
says,
of Ringo, I think that would be kind of fun.
All right. Well, you do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just have like every curse word in the book at the end in honor of George.
Oh, I'm going to defile this song.
Joe says, what is your favorite shot of the trailer? And what are you happy we didn't see and disappointed that we did see?
Yes. I mean, I'm sure we're going to detail, but that's relevant. I'm happy we didn't see the entire film disclosed in trailer 2 like some other products.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also happy we got to see a little bit of stuff.
Yeah. Look, man, I don't know. The image that comes to my mind the most, which I'll say is my favorite, because I don't know, is that great silhouette of the profile silhouette of Batfleck against the Knightmare backdrop. Right about the time where he says, "I had a dream."
That's pretty good.
I think that's probably just like, because I don't really like, I enjoy great action shots, but my main thing is just like, I love really beautiful imagery and just like really great cinematography. Honestly, like I can't replicate it.
Right.
Wish I could. And I've tried, man. Oh man. I can't figure out lighting. I can't figure like composition and lighting. I got nothing. I don't know how these people are doing it. It's like, seriously, like I can kind of draw, I can draw okay. I'm pretty good sometimes on a good day when my hands are doing what I want them to do. But,
it's a funny
I don't know.
caveat. It makes sense.
You know how some days, you go to get like your pills or something and you're dropping them all and you're just like, what is happening?
No, yeah, dexterity is not a guarantee in a given morning.
Yeah, no. So there are times where I'm like, I give it a shot. I'm like, well, I can't draw shit today. But like, that's just like anytime I pick up any kind of camera, like I can get some good images if I stand there for a minute and try really hard. But I don't, once you factor in motion, I'm just like, nah,
Yep.
I don't think so.
We're done here.
Which, I do think I'm at least better than you on that.
Oh, for sure.
Because like, when we used to shoot stuff for YouTube, like I'd hand you the camera and then when I went to go edit, I was just like, what was he shooting?
The actual fuck happened here. Yeah.
What? It's just like shaky. Oh, I saw a piece of my eye.
Yeah.
But music, so it all evens out. You're good musically. It was
a whole different side, irrelevant to what we were actually trying to do that I was failing at.
I'm just saying you're not bad at everything. You're good at a lot of shit.
I can put a soundtrack behind something. Sure.
Yeah. You're just, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
It was a giant blank area and anything I was capable of doing.
So anyway, yep. Disappointed that we did see nothing. Nothing. Yeah. Disappointed that we didn't see. I want to see a Green Lantern.
Oh, if
there's a Green Lantern to be had, I want to see it.
And they're being a little bit shady and close to the vest about how that may or may not happen, as far as I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you said, what I did see, great. While we're talking about it, I also get a little bit of the disappointment that the actual trailer was not just completely new and the one 3 days out, 2 days out tomorrow teasers. Yeah, I can get behind you on that. Like the rest of us, you probably watched the teasers several times.
Yep.
Leading up, and a lot of that was footage you saw again. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Please remember also it's the first trailer, so
Yeah.
let's give it a second. We don't really have any, to get to the answer to the question, we don't really have any idea about the story so far.
Yeah.
We have a rough idea that there's an invasion by Steppenwolf and Darkseid. As he was known to his classmates in second grade.
Right.
Darkseid.
You don't become that kind of a villain
Without
if you were popular in school.
Yeah, without being bullied in elementary school, of course. So
that poor bastard was pantsed every day. That's why he wears that skirt.
I mean, he changed in gym class and they took his regular clothes from him. So he went to third period English and in underwear. We know that for a fact.
They used to pants him and say, "Look, there's Ook's ass."
Yep.
We showed the whole class's dark side.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Not a popular kid growing up.
No. He has that skin condition.
He clearly found his groove growing up.
He looks like he used a lot of Clearasil.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Really dry skin now.
That's probably what the helmet's doing, is some sort of like electron convulsive treatment for the skin condition. Speaking of which, Granny
Desaad was just his little friend in the audiovisual club.
I was thinking that. He
porn
feels like
for
a
him.
fucking rat, doesn't he? And Granny Goodness has like this gym teacher feel to her.
Right. I was going to say she was like the one weird English teacher that like related to all the nerd kids.
No. I think I feel like she was just a like a bully of a gym teacher before, and she finally he finally got bigger than her, and the power relationship changed, and she didn't at no point was she a decent person.
Right. No.
Yeah. The whole time. Terrible.
We are too pleased with ourselves most of the time, I find.
Just imagining a bullied Darkseid is a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, they seem terrible. That was my point.
Let's move on, I guess.
Yeah.
I got a couple of bits for Batman v Superman here. Now, Zach was just talking about the Martha moment. He says, "Clearly, I'm a fan of and am very interested in how Martha, that concept is central to the film. I mean, it's 100% the linchpin that holds the entire movie together. I think it's indicative of the way that Batman v Superman was received, that its central tenet was sort of belittled and made fun of. I personally think it is like this beautiful, incredibly symmetrical idea that it completely finishes it as a concept. It all is 100% with intent and intention to be all the images that you see as far as their inspiration and stuff like that." Sometimes I feel like Snyder kind of like trails off into former stoner sentences, but I'm here for it, whatever.
Yeah.
He says, I'm certain there's a lot of cinematic references that we have, as well as classical, and Citizen Kane certainly would be among the things that we would and do look at as iconographic benchmarks that people would be able to link into as a way to help with a secondary storyline. That is to say that the images exist here, but the images they evoke are deeper. It's like every image that you see, and we endeavored carefully that each image that you could take a dive on and find, whether it be a cinematic reference or whether it be mythological or historical, we really try and support the movies in that way as much as possible.
Yeah. Look, I love a lot of that. It's and the shots are fantastic. I mean, the performances are fantastic. It's just that even now, having probably watched that scene 25 times, it's still just, it's a little bit awkward.
It's awkward, but I really like it.
I like so much about it. I like that it points it out. I like that it's a humanizing moment for Batman to conceive of Superman that way. All that. It's just that the one line every time I watch it, I think, man, I don't know. Is every time he says like they're gonna kill Martha. I have to this day, 36 years in, never referred to my mom in like as her actual name.
You absolutely have.
In like
several times to me.
Okay. In
you
what
have
context?
Mitzi came over yesterday. I was talking to Mitzi the other day. Like, you constantly do that with me. Every time you talked about your mom, you mentioned her by name.
Okay. All right. But that's very specific to our relationship. Because we had the one weird as fuck moment where we were doing a little bit of improv and you named a doll Mitzi. And now I think it's funny to refer to her that way.
Yeah, that was weird. That was, if you care about that, guys, we did an improv web series called Hey Guy, where we play two old guys. And I have this little stuffed dog, not knowing at all that Jason's mom's name was Mitzi.
To my point, it had never been brought up before.
Had never been brought up. We had, there's no idea. And I named this ratty little stuffed dog Mitzi. Mm-hmm. And Jason just looks at me and like, Mitzi, huh, guy? And I didn't think anything about it, but then like later on he told me, and I was like, oh God, and you see it on your face.
Yeah.
You could see it on his face. He's like, if my parents watch this, they're going to think I'm saying something about them.
I kept going, but it was there. And
yeah, you did. You yes-anded the shit out of it. But I had no idea.
But past that, I don't know. I thought it was fun to refer to her as that to you, but I would not do that in general.
I don't know.
I hadn't done that before that moment. I'm quite certain, and again, to the point of the story, that at any point in our relationship before that, I had referred to my mother as my mother.
I don't even know if you had mentioned that you had parents at that point. Like, for all I know, you had been hatched in a wood. I don't.
And when I say mother, I don't mean mom. Weirdly, I refer to my mother as mother. Come hither, mother.
Yeah.
Mother, may I have an audience with you?
All right.
Shall we have a talk about this, mother?
But during the Pasadena Director's Cuts panel, Snyder said, Chris Terrio and I, we did reach that point in the movie in our discussions. We knew how to get them to fight, but how do you get them to stop fighting? That's a tough one. And we sort of were just throwing down on their humanity, and Batman realizes Superman has humanity. He's not just a creature. He's a man. He's an alien, but he is as human as, in a lot of ways, he's more human than Batman. He sort of embraced all the good parts of the human race, and Batman's able to sort of see in a lot of ways a thing that he is not. And I think that was how we started to talk about it. So that's how they came to the Martha moment. Like, and maybe there is like a little bit in there where like, it's just like, maybe there was something else they could have thrown in or added something, taken away something.
Yeah, dude, look.
If he had said,
I can
like,
Monday morning quarterback it all I want, but
yeah, if he had said Martha Kent, they're going to kill Martha.
Yeah.
If he had done that, that would have been like, oh, cool. He has an actual like first and last name to go by.
But even my points aside about how that's my mom, just the moment itself and the humanizing factor of that, I've never questioned the validity of that. I have some execution problems, but
that's not what everybody complains about. The thing they complain about is the fact that, oh, our moms have the same name. We're best friends now, which is not what happens in that scene.
It's not. It's definitely not. It's more that Bruce has a bit of a come to Jesus about, which is funny thinking about Superman being involved, but a bit of a come to Jesus about how.
A bit of a come to Kal-El, if you will.
A bit of a come to Cal about how he's just othered the absolute fuck out of this person and hasn't actually considered him as a real person and all that. And look, what is it, like 30 minutes later in the film? Well, maybe 30 minutes real time, but something along that in the film. They're fighting side by side. Like again, it's like two sentences that I take issue with here. It's not the overall point. I think the overall point is a really good one. And I love the idea that somebody finally pointed out that it was two Marthas. Like that was worth pointing out.
Yes,
it's just,
I agree.
It's just the one line and how it was really done and a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah. So Snyder says for BVS, the IMAX remaster, it is coming to Blu-ray and 4K. He says he just approved the Blu-ray box the other day. And so it'll be there. And he says, I have to confirm now, but for sure we've been talking about the release is meant to, especially for the special edition, to replace the one that was kind of messed up a little bit. The Blu-ray, I think, was okay. The 4K was messed up. I remember watching it on Apple Movies or wherever it was or somewhere and going, wait, what? That's not correct. The reds were all blocked up. It was really weird. And do you remember when all this happened? When everyone was like, they're trying to Marvelize BVS. They're changing the colors. That came out back in 2016 when it was released.
Nice.
Over to Wonder Woman 1984, the 4K Blu-ray and exclusive steelbook is up for pre-order, I think, here. And it says you can, God, my brain, I just completely lost my place here. You can now get the $19.99 rental on sites like Prime Video. And you can get they have a Best Buy steelbook that looks fantastic for $39.99. It looks amazing. I will not be purchasing that edition. I don't even know when I'll purchase it. I will eventually get it, but it ain't gonna be for that price. I don't pay that kind of money for that movie. But
I saw the sleeving on it, and yeah, it looked pretty good.
It looks great, but both versions are going to be out March 30th. Nice. So the special features, they've got an HDR presentation of the film, Dolby Atmos audio track, the making of Wonder Woman 84, Expanding the Wonder, Galen, Kristen, Friends Forever. They've got something called Small But Mighty. They've got a scene study, The Open Road, scene study, The Mall. Gal and Chrissy having fun, Meet the Amazons, Black Gold infomercial, gag reel. They got a bunch of stuff. Some kind of retro remix. So for fans of that film, there you go. It's coming soon. I just talked about all that with David Sandberg saying that he's never met or talked to Snyder. So we'll just move right along.
I really feel like those two should get in a room for a minute. I think something glorious would happen.
Something might, yeah. Something might. New Gods is still happening, by the way. Just don't really have any news, but they have said that they're still doing it. So, ever since this Dark Side stuff showed up with Justice League, everybody's like, "Oh, it's not happening." No, it is. Shut up.
I want to say it was a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago. Tom King posted something on Twitter about I've been doing some Hollywood kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
if you're a writer, you get asked to do things, and they don't always amount to anything or are connected with anything. But
even more than that, they have actively said that they're still working on that. So
yeah, like
this week they said that. Yeah. But it was like nothing we didn't already know. So I just felt like I should mention it because every time anything New Gods comes out or anytime Ava DuVernay or Tom King work on any damn thing other than it, people are like, "Oh, I can't believe New Gods." It's not. Stop.
Yeah.
God. Anyway.
Still in the works.
We're gonna pop over to a break, and when we come back, we've got a little TV news, and then we'll wrap her up. All right, we're back, and we've got HBO content chief Casey Bloys was talking to The Wrap. Says, they're talking about the Batman's getting their TV spinoff, Suicide Squad getting their Peacemaker spinoff, and he says they won't be reserving characters for TV or movies anymore. He says Matt Reeves is absolutely a producer on Gotham City PD. We don't want to reserve characters just for films or for TV. There should be kind of some fluidity between them. So that is the idea. I mean, we're in very early stages on that. So I don't want to suggest that any one character will be. But yes, that is, generally speaking, that is the idea, that there will be crossover. The first show up for HBO Max for DC will be Peacemaker with John Cena. That'll be a good example of what Max can do with DC, producing at a more highly elevated level, probably more like the movies than what CW was doing. But one of the things I would say about DC overall is Ann Sarnoff, a big goal for her is to really organize and coordinate the DC offering. In the past, with the CW, DC would run on the CW, Warner Brothers would do films, but there wasn't a lot of overlap or coordination. And a big thing going forward for Warner Media and DC specifically is having everybody involved in DC talking so that a show on Max is aware of a movie and is aware of a CW show. They're all kind of working in concert so that there's nobody overlapping. There's no stories that don't make sense as a result of that. So they've been trying very hard to kind of get that going. I thought that was interesting language. In some ways, it sounds like
I like where her head's at.
In some ways, it sounds like they're trying to coordinate a multiverse proper. In other ways, it sounds like they're trying to make sure that there's no overlap in characters and stories. So I'm a little iffy.
To me, it sounded like they were trying to make sure that there's really not like a contradiction, but they're trying to make the overall universe make sense.
Yeah, hopefully that all pans out in a positive way.
I'm really rooting for her on this, man. I mean, if Warner Brothers needed a Kickstarter, I wouldn't contribute because I'm not an idiot, but
right.
I would help write the copy.
Fair enough. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Peacemaker is expected to premiere in January of 2022.
It's better than I thought.
Yeah. Let's see. Over to Black Lightning. The showrunner says they're trying to get Wayne Brady back for the final season. And he also says that they are bringing in a character called Ishmael. And he says Ishmael is a new character that we're going to see, and he's from the comics. If you're not familiar with Ishmael, the character was a man kidnapped and put into a program to create a personal army of metahumans. He gained superpowers as a result, and he has the ability to leech the power of other metahumans. And then in the comics, when the experiments, kind of failed, and then he started to die, Ra's al Ghul threw him in a Lazarus pit and gave him functional immortality. So, that could be interesting. I doubt they'll have Ra's al Ghul with the Lazarus pit.
They'll just have had him overgrowth on Green Light, I think it's called.
Yeah.
At some point, and unlock that ability. Just a guess.
Yeah, maybe. Or I mean, everybody like they I don't know. Last time I heard, they hadn't really. Or the last I watched, they hadn't really gotten into all that. Bringing people back from the dead stuff. They haven't gotten into that yet. Stu Little wants to know if Jefferson Pierce can throw people with his lightning and he can shoot it out of his eyes. Does that mean he potentially has yeet vision?
I'm not laughing because
I am.
because I'm struck by how funny that is. That's fantastic. And more so, I would love to see it happen. And Jefferson just say something like "Yeet, motherfucker" when the guy hit the ground, some 30 yards away.
Yep.
Unironically, by the way,
bad.
Just yeet, motherfucker.
Now, what's weird is Akil says that the Painkiller show is going to get a backdoor pilot in episode 7 of Black Lightning.
Right.
And he says if it goes to series, if it gets picked up, you'll probably see the Pierce sisters there, which is interesting because the actress who plays Jen has said she's leaving the show. She was going to leave the show either way, and she seemed very anti-Hollywood in that video she posted. Mm-hmm. So I don't really understand. I mean, did they what have they done to make her? I don't know. That's weird. If she's going to be on Painkiller, that's an odd thing.
Yeah, if so.
Yeah. Wonder Girl not moving forward.
Yeah.
I was good with this, honestly. Like, I was good with it happening. I'm good with it not. Dalen Rodriguez, the producer, said, sad news for all those asking. Wonder Girl is not getting picked up at the CW. I was very proud of the script I wrote. Wish I could have shared the world I created, but unfortunately it was not meant to be. Thanks for everyone's enthusiasm. And, we shared this on Twitter, and I think it was Randy said, and yet they picked up Batwoman for another season. And the fact that I've seen that sentiment a lot, honestly. And the fact of the matter is, Wonder Girl had a single script for a pilot. Mm-hmm. And we don't know how expensive it was going to be, but we know Wonder Girl, Yara Flor, she has powers. She has Amazonian powers. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming we're going to need Themyscira involved. She's...
So far in the comics, maybe.
I mean, she's the daughter of an Amazonian warrior and a Brazilian river god.
Yeah.
There's going to be some powers and some possibly exotic locations involved, but at the very least, what you're looking at...
In the book, she has spent a lot of time in, just
they're doing,
straight up in Hades. So
yeah, well, But they're doing Future State and all that stuff right now. I mean, I doubt
So
they
where
would be.
she landed later, I don't know.
Yeah. The other big thing though is that there aren't any sets for this in this COVID world. They would have to spend a lot of money on sets. They would have to spend, money and time finding a cast. They don't have a cast.
Yeah.
Like as far as we can tell, for whatever reason, they didn't like the script. But with Batwoman, they have sets, they have a cast, and yes, it's already been renewed. They've got everyone in place that they need. And also there's this, Ava DuVernay's Naomi is getting a pilot order. Mm-hmm. And, Ava DuVernay has a big exclusive deal with Warner Brothers. She's going to take precedent.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're already paying her.
They are already paying out the ass for Ava. So she's going to be working with Arrow writer and co-executive producer Jill Blankenship on the show. And, that character Naomi was created by Brian Michael Bendis and David F. Walker and Jamal Campbell. And it's an interesting character. She comes from an alternate Earth that was nearly destroyed by all the ecological abuse, and that's why the ozone layer crumbles. And as a result, radiation leaks into the Earth's surface and turns people into some superpowered beings. And then, like, the whole idea though is that she's like on this Earth. They sent her to this Earth to get away. And there are like lethal beings coming to kill her, and she's got to like go back into her adoption and figure out who she was and who she came from, and what winds up running with Justice League people. At the end of the day,
as one does.
As one does. So they're gonna give it to Ava.
I mean, in the event that these things can be called either or like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one
they're just being a little tighter.
That has a slightly bigger profile right now might win.
Yeah. I think they're also just being really picky with what they're doing now because of how hard it is to produce anything in this COVID society.
Yeah. I think that's the major part is they all shoot in Vancouver. The restrictions are very particular, and man, you can't just send 100 people up there to film a pilot right now.
Yeah.
It's not that straightforward. Yeah. We're going to lose a couple things.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, one last thing we got here. One last little piece of feedback or a question from Stu Little. Mm-hmm. Which DC property that's never had an animated series would you like to see get one?
I mean, properties as in people or
he left it open. I guess overall.
Because deceased.
Okay.
Is for sure. Like my top pick for something that should be animated and I think would adapt really well to the animated format is deceased.
Cool. I have my pick.
What you got?
I want a Harley Quinn animated series style version of Justice League International from the 80s with Guy Gardner with blue and gold. I want Giffen and DeMatteis back to
Any
oversee
version
it.
of blue and gold, also a good pick.
I want a very 80s adult Justice League International series that's funny as shit.
Yeah, I like it.
That's what I want.
I like it.
It's among comic fans, it's one of like the most heralded runs, but like normal people don't know it. Like people who watch DC shows and don't read the comics, they don't even know what the hell that is. The Justice League is like Batman, Wonder Woman. So no, they don't know about like, blue and gray Batman punching out Guy Gardner or, Martian Manhunter eating Oreos, like. So that's what I'd want.
Yeah, that's solid.
That's all I've got. Do you have anything?
Yep, I'm out.
Cool, man. We're going to take off for the night, and we love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Bye.
And some Zack Snyder hashtags on your Twitter. And your fingers in some hollowed out pickle. Oh, that was last week.
That part, yeah.
Our intro music is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Galactic Engineers of Magnetic Sounds, or GEMS, can be found on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. Visit DCOnScreen.com to find our Patreon, merch, contact information, and every episode of the show for free, including crossovers we've done with other podcasts. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. For more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, vlogs, parodies, and our improvised web series Hey Guy, visit maladjusted.tv.